For most of my life, I've been filled with air. It's a it's a byproduct of living in Southern California or in America. The American dream, this, that, chase after this goal, chase after this ambition, this disease. So it always gives you this high. And then it fills you with fire. So you're filled with desires. And then you always need the spiritual fire to fuel your own body to get there. It comes to a point of your evolution where you are then deciding to enter a path of self-mastery. And you can only get so far on that path without realizing you have to master the element of earth. When you master the element of earth, or even dare to begin to, you realize there's nowhere to go. And everything is just earth. So growing up in Southern California and then coming to London, London understands earth and brick. One of my students recently talked to me on the phone. He's currently in Los Angeles. He said he watched one of my videos and it was just filled with so much darkness. The reality is this. You can pretend you're filled with air and you're always happy. But that will only get you so far. To actually be a witch or a wizard and develop like actual mastery, you need to understand earth and grounded, static, stable, brick. And after so much time, the drama and the novelty wears off of it. And you go, where do I go from here? Seriously. And maybe that's where the beginning of the journey is when you finally hit the dead end of brick and all the emotion around it fades away and all the fire of it fades away. That might be where the wall opens and new potentialities begin. We'll see. But that leads us to our point. This is the brick. For the next 70 years of my life that I will master. And I'm starting at the age of 37. That's gross. And if I can master this brick, maybe I can focus on this brick for the next 300 years. Or the next 700 years. Because I'm so stable and masterful in my form that I cease to age or deteriorate. That I attune with the actual planet and with the divine. Now, the thing is about becoming ageless like that, there's no more drama. When you've hit the element of earth and you look at the work that you're supposed to do for 500 dragons, and you go, oh, it's going to take me 30 years just to semi-grid these dragons up. 30 years to have them, like, non-knife raper approved. And you go, what else am I going to do? There are masteries of art I would like to do. I would like to get my body in shape and back into yoga. But even then, where am I going to go? Nowhere. It's the same posture in the same sequence in the same series every day. And that's the same thing with martial arts. Matt, brick, mastery. It ceases to be enjoyable. But in the simplicity of it, it's enjoyable. It's when you look outside and you see the same trees everywhere. And you begin to appreciate the difference in the variation of the same trees. Instead of seeking outward continuously for more. So that's the value and virtue of Gebura. That total reductiveness. I reduce my intake of people, and I define a higher sense of quality among them and less turnover. So as I develop and I progress in age, I would require and desire 100 students that build an empire that I can look after and keep. 100 students, not 8 billion. So there is this, like, there's a desire to build a healthy, sustainable program and relationship on people of paths of self-mastery that are in the long haul. Now, if you're a dragon person, and you need to understand, you have to have this preface. If you're a dragon person, you're in for the long haul. If you're not a dragon person, Avatar, James Cameron Avatar. Those are dragon people. The Ikron people. Okay. The dragon people will be the masters who build the empires on this planet and then shift this planet from disease, poverty, and spiritual warfare into Pandora. Now, coming from my stable, static position of no drama, of just darkness, where I'm not high on light, the to-do steps are visible and manifest and tangible because I'm not grasping. It's just that my soul is real old and I'm real bored with watching geese get their heads cut off to feed fat diabetic assholes on this planet. It's pretty whatever. All right. I think we ended on this. Livelihood, pride, and loved ones. So this is the Japanese wisdom. If you wish to get somewhere fast, go slow. There are reasons why the elementals, the elemental dragons in Korra and in Aang, Avatar: The Last Airbender, were lion turtles. You want power? You have to go slow. Slow. Just to connect to the element. Because you're going to connect not from the astral planes where it's easy, but from the bare bottom physical planes, from the bottom of the Clippeth. So, it's from that position. No drama. Delta frequencies in your brain in waking state. Not crazy rat race muggle reality. I'm pretty sure I need to create a Nexademons page every week when we're doing the elementals for the year for the dragon egg. This year and next year is crazy because it's like, what are the fun, crazy magics we can deliver? But it's all like, it's all nutso. Okay. Whereas the following years are going to be way more. We're going to layer in the element of earth for an entire Christmas magic in the year. And then earth of earth. And then earth of earth of earth. And then after 15 years, we might acquire the Kabbalah level elemental connection, which will be the bare bottom Clippeth. Maybe we need more. I don't know. Okay. It might be the bare bottom goo for like Kabbalah 400. It's gonna be that. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Period. All right. Rapidity is the essence of war. You need to understand that. So war is fire. Okay? And then non-war is earth. So when I temper my energy field, it creates passive buffering. The more grounded I am, the more earth, then the less fire is able to be there. Now, other people can feed off of my earth and create war And now I'm speaking like the planet. And so this is good. I don't want other people to feed off of my earth and create war. And that's how Mother Earth is right now. I don't want people to do that. Now you understand the planet. Rapidity is the essence of war. Take advantage of the enemy's unreadiness. Make your way by unexpected routes and attack unguarded spots. Smart, quick. Humor and other modes of attack. So this is when you can deliver a punchline that takes somebody down and it's fun. And that is acceptable in Mother Earth's eyes because it's clever and humiliating to those other people, but not to you or to her. The following are principles to be observed by an invading force. The further you penetrate into a country, we already did this, but it's better with the element of earth teaching. The further you penetrate into a country, the greater will be the solidarity of your troops, and thus the defenders will not prevail against you. Make forays in fertile country in order to supply your army with food. So we need to understand this. When Kelly and I descended into the Clippeth, the further we went into the enemy territory, the closer the bond we created. And where everyone else was a backstabbing demon, we were heroes. So we could clean it up, and there was positivity and trust and faith in each other. And everyone else was either in neutral land and was not a threat, or we were against demons that fought amongst themselves, which was even better. All right. Perception, momentum. If you think you're winning or losing, you're correct. So Mother Earth wants the warfare people gone. Out. No 5th house Nexa. Not even an 8th house. Well, never an 8th house Nexa. If you cannot get a 5th house Nexa, you are never going to get an 8th house. Period. Okay. Carefully study the well-being of your men and do not overtax them. Concentrate your energy and hoard your strength. Keep your army continually on the move and devise unfathomable plans. We already did this, but we'll do it again. Machinery and marriages. Okay. Run. Regular maintenance. Rot. Apathy. So the things that rot in your life are where you have apathy. So again, you need to take note of what is important to develop. And how do you build a long-term sustainable schedule in your calendar for those things to not atrophy and rot out of your life? My sister speaks fluent Spanish. She went to Argentina in high school, and she went to a poor country, or a poor city, La Rioja, where she was the only white person there and the only person that spoke English. So she had nobody to run to, and it was full immersion. There was no upper class culture to rescue her. There was nothing. Only impoverished Argentinians that spoke fluent, harsh dialect Spanish. Okay? If she does not use it, she loses it. Now, almost 20 years later, she must continuously practice, or it ceases to exist. There are a handful of skills you can develop and master and continue to use over time. All right? A handful. For me, it's going to be art, symbolic logic, the art of war, yoga. I will begin martial arts and self-defense for women. That's probably where I'll begin. And then script writing and teaching Kabbalah. All right, that's my life. It will, and then obviously the dragons, but that's the Kabbalah and the martial arts. I cannot do everything. Star said something once. You can have it all. There's something about, in light language, and a specific color, I think it was coral, but it was ceding the ability to have it all. There is nothing so far from the truth. It's mind-blowing. You cannot have it all unless you can do it all. So unless you're physically working and taking action at everything, you cannot have it all. These are these unfounded greed, air element, spiritual disease teachings. Earth. I have 7 things in my earth element. I should have 5. That's the better route. 7 things. I'll say yoga and martial arts are in the same boat. And then the dragons and Kabbalah, and then art, math, and then script writing and performance teaching. Okay, 5. I have 5 things. That's what I can have. This was a teaching in the Modern Mysteries School. Thank God for this teaching. In the beginning, when you get initiated, you're to write a list of all of your goals or desires. And you are told you have 4 needs and you are allowed 4 wants. Whoa, I'm grumbling. 4 needs and 4 wants. Okay? Self-mastery is an abstract want. Freedom is an abstract want. Like, what does freedom look like? Attainment of mastery, where you have rigid set schedules that you're bound to every day. Okay, so the idea of freedom is bizarre. Where independence is something, that's not the same as freedom. To section off your wants in life. It took me 10 years from an American mindset to develop a wise set of wants. And happiness is not one of them. Chasing happiness is fleeting. Developing skills and proficiencies, something tangible and of earth, develops a sense of peace and happiness. So then there are byproducts. If you choose the right things, you'll always win. All right. What you choose is where you're going to put your energy. Regular maintenance. And where you're apathetic is going to rot. I am apathetic in language, so I'm not speaking Spanish. Okay. But you know what? I'm not apathetic in wise decision making or analytical truth and valid thinking. So I know how to find appropriate translators for me. And that's how life will go. And we will barter down the line my analytical thinking skills versus their linguistic talents. A 30-minute intro, and I don't know if it's even of value. Maybe it's the redundancy I needed to move forward. All right. The point was this. It was another level of thinking about brick level thinking. Brick, brick, brick. Reduce all the drama in the brain, in the mind, in the spirit. Get to earth element. This is the brick I will be focusing on for the next decade. Oh no, 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades, 5 decades. Brick. When you choose your Archangel Kamael or Archangel Zadkiel, you stay there. Archangels don't flounder. They don't go, oh, but Archangel Zophiel is so much more. I'm going to go there next time. We're talking about 300, 400, 500 years down the line. That's the level of commitment required to have a dragon like Charlie. Is you can look at something at a 500-year wavelength. He says 1,000-year would be more appropriate. Beginning level to have a dragon like Charlie. Lucifer's like a 3,000-year timeline. So if anybody's planning on making Lucifer their Drogon, they better be operating at a 3,000-year timeline goals and ambitions. Man. Okay. So, Hades is the same as Charlie. These are Class A dragons. Like, dragon people are not freelancers. They might be freelancers at companies. They're not freelancers in life or in the eyes of God. I'm a freelancer to God, you know? No, you know. I'm not even a freelancer to the planet. Okay. I think we ended on this note in the last video. I know we ended on this note in the 30-minute intro I did. Machinery and marriages. Rot, apathy, run, regular maintenance. All right, I did this in the last video. I'm going to do it again. I have 5 desires in life. Someday I'll have a kid, maybe some kids, and that will be my 6th. All right. My body and athleticism. Okay, so martial arts and yoga. My art, developing my painting and drawing and painting. Okay. My Kabbalah teaching and the dragons. Being Archangel Kamael, right? Okay. My film and writing scripts and developing performance ability. Okay. That helps with the teaching. They all work together though. And then my 5th one. What's my 5th one? Doesn't matter. The point is this. Develop what's important to you and focus on that. If it does not fit into those bubbles, it's wasting the time and energy from where you are wanting to put those bubbles. Period. Period. Under those bubbles, that's where your life will be. If you are operating outside of those bubbles, your life is out of alignment. All right. Oh, the fifth one, math. So the symbolic logic. Let me tell you something. It is critical, in my belief, to think honestly and truthfully. I value that before anything. If I am having thoughts in my head that are illogical, not truthful, I'm wasting all my energy. Throw your soldiers into positions whence there is no escape. And they will prefer to death to flight. Let me read that again. Throw your soldiers into positions where there is no escape, and they will prefer death to flight. If there is no escape, they have to prefer death. You need to make sure there is no escape, where they are accepting of their death. When they are accepting of their death, they will fight to the death. If they will face death, there is nothing that they may not achieve. Now you need to understand this. And this might be why I added this whole 30-minute video and then put it back onto this video. And I am sorry for being redundant. But when you understand there is no escape, there is nowhere to run, there is nowhere to master other than Earth now. You may start finally learning reality and skills. Instead of wasting your life chasing after delusions of ascendio, of you becoming one with God, as if God's not in the physical manifest. All right, I'm boring and slow, but it's reality. Officers and men alike will put forth their uttermost strength. Desperate, trapped, strong will to live, Three-legged wolves. Okay, and we've got an hour left. Okay. That's why we have intros. Soldiers, when in desperate straits, lose the sense of fear. Let me repeat that. Soldiers, when in desperate straits, lose the sense of fear. Okay. Kelly and I go into the bottom of the Clippeth, trying to prevent ourselves from being stabbed. There was not the fear when we're in that position. There is not the fear about being in that position. What there is adrenaline to claw our way out of that position and to fight tooth and nail to get out of it. If there is no place of refuge, they will stand firm. If they are in hostile country, they will show a stubborn front. If there is no help for it, they will fight hard. Thus, without waiting to be marshaled, the soldiers will constantly on the qui vive. Without waiting to be asked, they will do your will. Without restrictions, they will be faithful. Without giving orders, they can be trusted. Okay. Armies and congregations. The smaller the fear of death, the greater the fear in the leader. Wait, faith in the leader. Let me repeat that. I am a leader that says, clean out the Clippeth before we do anything of any consequential magic on this planet. My intention is to decrease the level of risk and fear for everyone involved and create unconditional faith in me by lowering expectations and go, you have 5 years to clean out your cellular structure to not be demonic. And then we can start producing magic. Instead of, yeah, let's give me $11,000 and I'm going to teach you to teleport overnight. There is just no way that works. We didn't even have clean dragons running the planet. Unbelievable. Prohibit the taking of omens and do away with superstition and superstitious doubts. So this is in the art of war. Get rid of the external materia and divine ordinance data. Okay? Only be subscribing to what's in your face in the now. And heartfelt data. Then, until death itself comes, no calamity needed be feared. If our soldiers are not overburdened with money, it is not because they have a distaste for riches. If their lives are not unduly long, it is not because they are disinclined to longevity. Wealthy, healthy, wise. No thanks to superstitions. All right. Health is a practice. It is a lifestyle. I have the gift of health. Mastering it. Okay. There is zero superstition. There is science and data and action and prayer and meditation and going out for walks daily and exercising and drinking the right amounts of water and eating the right amount of lettuce. Okay, it's a practice. It is not. So let's look at that again. For all the crazy, The Secret, New Agers. Reality. Healthy, wealthy, and wise. Now, let me tell you another thing. If I have been gifted with any such confessor ability, it is not because of superstition. It is due to the 3 hours a day of lava meditations and the dragon eggs and this exercise and that and the dragon cleanings and the books and this and the 50,000 hours of training and development. There is a difference between a psychic and a witch. On the day they are ordered out to battle, your soldiers may weep. Those sitting up bedwetting, or wait. It says those sitting up bedewing their garments, and those lying down, letting their tears run their cheeks. But let them once be brought to bay, and they will display the courage of Chu or Q. QA. So fears, then bedwetting. I'm gonna say this. If you go into extreme fear, it triggers adrenaline. Because there's nothing left for your brain to wrap its head around other than action. So the skillful tactician may be likened to the Shuajan. Now the Shuajan, I really don't know how to pronounce that. I'm butchering it. Now the Shuajan is a snake that is found in the Chang Mountains. Strike at its head and you will be attacked by its tail. Strike at its tail and you will be attacked by its head. Strike at its middle and you will be attacked by both head and tail. So it's the same as a dragon. If an army can be made to imitate the Shuajan, I should answer yes. So this is something you need to know about yourself. If they attack you from at the front, that it comes in at the back end. So this is like Star knife raping me. And then God comes in and goes, confessed. So if you're an appropriate foundation where you have the support of divine ordinance and serendipity, that Mother Earth is on your side, the whales are on your side, the trees are on your side, the fish in the ocean are on your side. If you put yourself in a position just so we understand that when they attack you in your form or your body, or they lower you, the whales will come up from behind to steal their liver. Because that's life. So where you are on the karma wheel and the karma cycle matters. Do not pay attention to your position among men or humans. If you're not on a platform that's in a good position with Earth. And better yet, the trees. For the men of Wu and the men of Yue are enemies. Yet if they are crossing a river in the same boat and are caught by a storm, they will come to each other's assistance, just as the left hand helps the right. It's the same principle. Prepared, flexible, resilient, not to be trifled with. Self-aware. Prepared. Okay. So people who are highly self-aware, you need to be mindful of and respectful of. It comes at great cost to be negligent towards anyone. It comes at a futile state of even existing to be negligent of those who are self-aware. Hence, it is not enough to put one's trust in the tethering of horses and burying a chariot of wheels in the ground. I need you to understand that, because this is where most spiritual people are. I will create no conflict. And then all action is gone. Visible, actual. There's a good teaching in the Now You See Me. Because what is necessarily visible is the facade. Never in my life did I think I would be so hoodwinked by Star and then so criminally violated by her in the same breath. Because I was subscribing to the visible of her being a healer or a sacred woman, instead of the actual way she treated me daily being reflected in the essence of who she was. You need to understand this. Now, why it says the actual is deception. Succumbing and submitting to the earth component. It creates a standstill. And you may get deceived by that. As if it's a brick wall. That brick wall can be mutated. That brick wall can be built to protect things. Okay, there are a few reasons why bricks exist. But that brick wall, or that earth element, could just be housing microorganisms that feed you and life in a longevity way. So that's where it needs the flexible. Or a brick can just be used to throw at somebody's head. Okay. There's that. The principle on which to manage an army is to set up one standard of courage which all must reach. This is Braveheart at its finest. William Wallace. How to make the best of both strong and weak. That a question involving the proper use of ground. Thus the skillful general conducts his army just as though he were leading a single man, willy-nilly by the hand. It is the same to lead one student as to lead an army. We keep saying that. It's coming back to the point. Workarounds, weaknesses. This is the difference between a problem and a problem solver. It is the business of a general to be quiet and thus ensure secrecy, upright and just, and thus maintain order. He must be able to mystify his officers and men by false reports and appearances, and thus keep them in total ignorance. Let me repeat this. It is the business of a general to be quiet and thus secure secrecy, upright and just, and thus maintain order. So this is do not fear monger your soldiers. He must be able to mystify his officers and men by false reports and appearances, and thus keep them in total ignorance. Okay, this is like how Dumbledore treats Harry. Keep him out of the loop. All right. Don't tell him that he's being led to slaughter. It's just all these things. Keep him training. Okay, leverage, silence. Creating chatter and suspicion, undermining. So, most mystery schools operate off of these platforms. But they have such seedy interplay about what they're secret about that it creates chatter and suspicion, which undermines the integrity of their school. By altering his arrangements and changing his plans, he keeps the enemy without definite knowledge. By shifting his camp and taking circuitous routes, he prevents the enemy from anticipating his purpose. It's Ravenclaw. All right. At the critical moment, the leader of an army acts like one who has climbed up a height and then kicks away the ladder behind him. He carries his men deep into hostile territory before he shows his hand. He burns his boats and breaks his cooking pots like a shepherd driving a flock of sheep. He drives his men this way and that, and nothing knows whither he is going. To muster his host and bring it into danger, this may be termed the business of a general. Innovate or die. So this is where my Yoda Ball Sundays are coming into play. The point being is this. Be flexible. The different measures suited to the 9 varieties of the ground, the expediency of aggressive and defensive tactics, and the fundamental laws of human nature. These are the things that must be certainly studied. Who, when, where, vital information. So we need to study the 9 gradations of ground, the expediency of the aggressive or defensive tactics, and the fundamental laws of human nature. We do a lot around the fundamental laws of human nature in Kabbalah. We are going to need to learn the varieties of ground and the expediency or aggressive defensive tactics. We're also going to need to employ new levels of genome manipulation, talents, and magical abilities coming in the future. Coming now. It's here now. When invading hostile territory, the general principle is that penetrating deeply brings cohesion, and penetrating but a short way means dispersion. So commitment. Hedge, waffle, fail. When you leave your country behind and take your army across neighborhood territory, you find yourself on critical ground. When there are means of communication on all 4 sides, their ground is one of intersecting highways. When you penetrate deeply into a country, it is serious ground. When you penetrate but a little, it is facile ground. Connections, affinity, familiarity. The longer you stay, the harder it is to leave. When you have the enemy strongholds on your rear and narrow passes in front, it is hemmed in ground. When there is no refuge or place to refuge at all, it is desperate ground. Therefore, on dispersive ground, I would inspire my men with unity of purpose. On facile ground, I would see that there is close attention between all the parts of my army. And on contentious ground, I would hurry up my rear. Safety, loitering. On open ground, I would keep a vigilant eye on my defenses. On intersecting highways ground, I would consolidate my alliances. Locked door, trustworthy neighbors. So this is where I feel we are right now during the Ascension, is kind of like a galactic ground of intersecting highways. So my point is to build trustworthy alliances with the different planetary and star systems, with the different elementals, the Fae, the elves, etc., and to build that and lock it and secure it. And the dragons, obviously. On serious ground, I would try to ensure a continuous stream of supplies. So serious ground is when you penetrate their country deeply. So you need to build supply chains. On difficult ground, I would keep pushing on along the road. A well-packed bag and a full tank of gas. Low stress with travel is nice. Always. On hemmed-in ground, I would block any way of retreat. On desperate ground, I would proclaim my soldiers the hopelessness of saving their lives. For it is the soldier's disposition to offer an obstinate resistance when surrounded. To fight hard when he cannot help himself, and to obey promptly when he has fallen into danger. Viable exit strategies, permission to leave, less than full commitment. We cannot enter into alliance with neighboring princes until we are acquainted with their designs. I made the mistake of doing that. That was ill-suited. I thought everybody was on the mode of doing a planetary ascension, and I did not know that the Dalai Lama nor Star Fuentes understood what a planetary ascension was. That was ill-suited. Nor were they prepared for it. At all. We are not fit to lead an army on the march unless we are familiar with the face of the country, its mountains and forests, its pitfalls and precipices, its marshes and swamps. We shall be unable to turn natural advantages to account unless we make use of local guides. So, contemptible, new to the area and looking to take over. It says carpetbaggers and invasive species. So this is what did it. Star and the Dalai Lama were under strict ideas that they could operate at a sense of self, ascending into a unity consciousness grid. Even the dragons don't behave like that. And Lucifer is a star, you know? Even Lucifer's like, this month we're going to make Moira the star. Just so we understand. Right now it's Hades. Okay? Where the Dalai Lama is the king and Star is the queen of the planet. And it's so deeply ingrained in her that she couldn't not react violently to an idea where her throne will be burned away. All right. To be ignored of any one of the following 4 or 5 principles does not befit a warlike prince. Plans undermined, details overlooked. When a warlike prince attacks a powerful state, his generalship shows itself preventing the concentration of the enemy's forces. I'm going to pause that for a moment. When a warlike prince attacks a powerful state, his generalship shows itself in preventing the concentration of the enemy's forces. This is like how football players will enter a field and then do a dance, or be so clean cut in their uniform that they offer a sense of extreme intimidation and poise, that people are taken aback by it. He overawes his opponents and their allies, are prevented from joining against him. Hence he does not strive to ally himself with all and sundry, nor does he foster the power over other states. He carries out his own secret designs and keeping his antagonists in awe. Thus, he is able to capture their cities and overthrow their kingdoms. Let's read that again. He overawes his opponents, and their allies are prevented from joining against him. Hence he does not strive to ally himself with all and sundry, nor does he foster the power of other states. So it's like, if you want to take over the mystery school or Star's lineage, you don't be part of those lineages. You don't foster that. You carry out your own secret plans, and then you do it your own way and master it your own way. You don't climb to the top of a secondary lineage where you have to water down unoriginal teachings. So he carries out his own secret designs, keeping his antagonists in awe. Thus, he's able to capture their cities and overthrow their kingdoms. So I am a dragon person, and neither of those schools have any mastery of dragon magic whatsoever. Even dragon magicians have no mastery over dragon magic. So I build the authentic empire of dragon magic run on the planet. It's that simple. And through that, those other lineages are just taken out because we have to build an international, intergalactic standard ascendio. Okay. Meritocracy and rewards. The American dream. Man, I was just talking about that earlier. Bestow rewards without regard to rule. Issue orders without regard to previous arrangements, and you will be able to handle a whole army as though you had to do with but a single man. All right. You do not give people the carrots like in a Pavlovian system. But you do offer punishment in that way. You don't over punish people, but you do in regards to like rules system. But you offer rewards based off of like merit. What did it say? Meritocracy and rewards, the American dream. Strategy, career plans, work tactics. Confront your soldiers with the deed itself. Never let them know your design. So this is like me telling Kelly the specific, this is what is required. Do that. Get that done. So you give people the deed, and then they can understand the design. If they're high enough on the totem pole, they'll just download it. All right. When the outlook is bright, bring it before their eyes, but tell them nothing when the situation is gloomy. This is like when you're climbing up a ladder and you're getting like, focus on this bar or this ledge. Get to the next one. Get to the next one. Don't look down. Like, we have this. This is our next task we need to accomplish. This is the next task we need to accomplish. This is the next task we need to accomplish. Sometimes I overburden Kelly, maybe or maybe not, with the setup and the design, and that's not great. But it might be great because she needs to develop her own design for Ravenclaw. We will see. She needs to be her own general. All right. So again, strategy, plans, career, work, tactics. Now, the majority of my students, I would never give them the level of information I give Kelly. Ever. I will give them tasks. Period. There's a two-hand teaching here for Kelly. All right. Place your army in deadly peril, and it will survive. Plunge it into desperate straits, and it will come off in safety. For it is precisely when a force has fallen into harm's way that it is capable of striking a blow for victory. So this is like taking people out of their comfort zone. This is like kicking out your 18-year-old narcissist child and go, find a life. Go figure it out. And then your kid does. Sometimes not a great life, but it's still a life. Capable, yes. Sheltered, no. Success in warfare is gained by carefully accommodating ourselves to the enemy's purpose. Let me say that again. Success in warfare is gained by carefully accommodating ourselves to the enemy's purpose. So this is that you need to know your enemy. You need to understand what they're trying to achieve. By persistently hanging on the enemy's flank, we shall succeed in the long run in killing the commander-in-chief. This is called the ability to accomplish a thing by sheer cunning. Manipulation, information, negotiation. On the day that you take up your command, block the frontier passes, destroy the official tallies, and stop the passage of all emissaries. Be stern in the council chamber so that you may control the situation. If the enemy leaves a door open, you must rush in. Perceived power, assertiveness. Perceived weakness, hesitation. Forestall your opponent by seizing what he holds dear and subtly contrive to time his arrival on the ground. Contain them, keep them busy, separate them. Schools and prisons. Walk in the path defined by rule and accommodate yourself to the enemy until you can fight a decisive battle. At first, then, exhibit the coyness of a maiden until the enemy gives you an opening. Afterwards, emulate the rapidity of a running hare, and it will be too late for the enemy to oppose you. Learn the rules. Play nicely. This is like studying with crappy masters around the world and sitting in the corner going, as you wish. Yes, master. And being their slave for a decade before you bust a move. And then they find out who you actually are. All right, that was chapter 11. Chapter 12 is rather small. All right, color N.